Okay, so I finally made a decision on this thing. I definitely don't want to sell it with a big hole muffler. And I don't want to patch it up either. I think that'd just be shady. So, since I don't have a pipe bender to bend a new pipe coming from the head pipe going down, I think I can use this Polaris Pure exhaust. It's often XP 900, 900 XP. If you caught my last video, height and mounting, I'm gonna have to take advantage of that material I've got with that mount and do some cuts and welds and make it work. My big issue here, hopefully you can see, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie it into these bolts. There's one on each side that are holding on this frame roll cage extension back bumper, and so I'll probably cut these tabs off, turn them 90 degrees, so on and so forth, do some cutting and maneuvering here. But my biggest hang up is the exhaust pipe. I don't have an exhaust pipe bender, and I don't really have a way to take it to a shop to get it done. So I think what I'm going to do is cut this one out and reuse it. As it sits right now, it comes down, I think, from here to here, about 7.5 inches. So that means from the top of this pipe down to the bottom of it here is about 7.5 inches, which means from the top of here down to this bracket that goes across here to hold this rear cover, that's about 8 inches, which gives me about 1/2 inch from the bottom of my intake tube here, bottom, to that bracket. Obviously between here and here is more than 1/2 inch. So that means I'm going to be bumping into this bracket. That's my big challenge. Distance going out that way from here, going out to the exhaust, I think I've got some room to play with as long as I can keep the bottom of the exhaust above that bracket, which means if I shorten this a little bit and bring it up, let's say 1/2 inch, that'll give me the clearance I need. But I think I can make it work. If I take, say, 1/2 inch out of that, then that brings me up probably 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch, which hopefully gives me enough room to clear the bottom of the muffler and the bottom of this bracket that's going to be in place here. You can see one on the other side, right over there. That one's got that nice little curve right there, which would be great if I could swap sides left to right. But get this, both brackets they give you are identical. So they're both the same, which means this one on this side is just flipped over. And because of, you need this 90 in order to meet up with this hole, you can't just flip it over, turn it around, or even swap sides. In fact, the one that's on the other side there is from this side, just because I couldn't wrap my head around it. I had to try it. I was like, this can't be right. So they actually made these, stamped them out identical. It would be perfect. It would look good if I could have them both sit like that. But obviously, that would give me the clearance I need, but I wouldn't have it at the other end. And I sure don't want to have the exhaust, lower on this end and higher on that end and on a terrible angle. Just perfect for holding water, should this thing ever, end up in deep water. I'd rather have it the other way around, where this end is actually up a little bit more. So that means chopping that exhaust, sliding the new muffler probably over a little bit just to get lined up because of the distance between here and here, being that this muffler is a lot longer than the old one, like so. So maybe you can see the difference between there and there. But if I can slide this down that much further, I should be able to make it work. And it'll stick out nicely at the other side too. So I think as long as I can cut this down, that pipe down just a little bit, maybe take a 3/4 inch out of it, 1/2 inch, we'll figure that out, do some measuring, and see if I can't make this work. Fingers crossed. guess I'm committed now. Look at that. Oh. Full of mud. Just a mess. Definitely need to be replaced. Tons more cutting to do. Let's just get the rest of this crap off here. Grind this off with a bench grinder and take a brush to this, get this all cleaned up. My ears are ringing after that. Whew. Should have some earmuffs on. Everything in my garage is covered in dust. Getting there. Alright, I need a break. Getting there. Just enough material left over to clean it up a bit. And I sure hope the lens on the camera is clean, because after all that dust, that would suck to lose all that footage to a dirty lens. Man, I made more of a mess than I thought. Ooh, I got some stuff covered in dust that I really didn't want covered in dust. Yeah, belt sander would be perfect. I don't have one. Made a mess of my camera lens trying to clean it. Next part of the game plan. So I'm going to I did a test measure. I did a test measure. I did a test measure. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be too long in here. So I'm going to draw a straight line, get a straight edge, draw a straight line across here, one on the other side, cut about an inch out of this. I can definitely go up. I can definitely shorten this up quite a bit and be safe. So I'm going to draw the two lines just to keep everything straight and lined up. I want to make sure this doesn't turn opposite to that. So I can keep everything in line, shrink it up. And then I think what I'm going to do is take this piece, I'm going to cut a little slit right here and bend this in a little bit smaller and slide this over top. So it's no longer a butt weld. I think that's going to be a good thing. This piece fits nicely into the muffler and butts up against it nicely. So I'm going to use this piece, slide over top of that, and then I've just got to weld a couple of tabs on for the springs to hold this into the muffler. And that'll be my next steps. Wish me luck. Alright, so I'm just going to use some tape, trying to get a nice even line all the way around. Follow that around. If I had a tubing cutter or a pipe cutter, that'd probably work. But I don't. That looks pretty straight. I don't want it that thick, so I'm just going to peel it off and push around, do another line. Right about there. That curve's going to mess me up, so make sure these ends meet up. That should hopefully guarantee me a nice clean line. I was thinking if I had some painter's tape that was an inch wide, I'm going to do one wrap and it'd be perfect, but don't want to spend all day looking for some. That should be good. Straight edge. The file should be pretty straight. Do a line there and another line a little further down. Just for good measure, one more here. There. If I can get all three of those lined up, should be right back exactly where it was. Now cutting. I don't know what I'm going to cut with. I don't have a sawzall here. Oh, yes, I do. Right there. Cool. Safety first, kids. Maybe somebody could explain to me, is there a scientific explanation for why the start of the cut and the end of the cut are always the toughest? Can't wrap my head around it. Alright, so fit this up, clean it up again. Try not to burn any holes. Hope for the best. See if that still fits. How's that saying go? Measure something. Yeah, it's too long. I gotta cut it down again. much did I take off? There's one piece. There's the other. Oh, a lot more than I expected, actually. I think it'll sit pretty nicely though. So I was about 1 inch and 3/8, I'd say. Something like that. A little over 1 1/4 inches. Alright. I think it's time to call it a night. I'll be back tomorrow. Alright, back at it again. I'm going to clean up my shitty welds and try and do them a little bit better. Did you look at my butt? Hope you weren't looking at my butt. Probably wondering who the hell spends this much time on a piece of exhaust on a side-by-side. I'm kind of wondering myself. Well, I finally figured out the settings on the welder. At least I think I'm close. Mine's one of these cheap welders, got 4 settings, min, max, 1 and 2. So I've got on min 2. And then on the wire feed, I've got 1 through 10. I've got it set about 5.5. I figured out that if I just run short little 1/2 inch passes, let it cool for a second, do my next section, it's working a lot better. Wish I had figured this out from the start. Probably have a lot nicer welds than what I've got. But it's an improvement. It'll have to do. Now, I need some tabs for the springs, so I've got to figure out where I'm going to salvage those from. I think what I'll do is just steal them off of the old exhaust, off the Yoshi exhaust, see if I can grind these off and make use of them. Now I gotta figure out with the springs where exactly I need to place these. So I put them into the old exhaust. Actually, I'll take a look at the old tubing for the exhaust, slide it in, see how far out they were before, and try and weld them into the same place here. Could be worse. Maybe. You're gonna have to live with it. Alright, test fit. Now I can start welding the bracket. Wish I could have gotten that one tighter, but there's not much I can do. Move up, more of an angle. Might have to find a shorter spring. Or bend that tab in, maybe that'll help a little bit. I'm gonna start marking for welding up a bracket. I'm gonna give it a test start. I'm dying to hear it. There, front row seat, see what it sounds like. Hear what it sounds like. I like it. Alright, let's make this bracket work. It'd be nice if I can retain these. Little rubber vibration reducers, whatever you want to call them. Dampers. Where I'm going to bolt it into, I'm not sure if I'll be able to. I won't have long enough bolts. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Cut this one off right on the corner. Pro tip, don't leave paper towel on the counter when you're grinding or welding. Ask me how I know. What I plan on doing, possibly taking these, turning them so I can put them in where I need to. So height wise, from there up to the middle of the bolt, front to back, right on that front edge, right on that edge. I'll just cut all that off. Don't know if I will though. Alright, so I didn't get left with enough material from this piece to reuse sections to build my brackets here. So I think what I'm going to do is take the section I cut off here, turn it 90, cut that off, weld it on, cut that out, run a bolt through here, hang that end from the machine. On this end, I think what I'll do is take a little section like this and the same section off of the other piece that came off of here. Put a small hole through it, put another bigger hole through it, bolt that onto the machine, and then weld this piece with a small hole onto here, and run a spring. And then the muffler is on a spring, the exhaust pipe is on a spring, and hopefully that gives it the flexibility. Hopefully it works out. So far I've ground these off, cleaned them up so that I can get to welding. Probably take a little bit more off there. I'm going to start cutting into this piece to make it work. And cut right across here. Get rid of that notch. I'm going to keep that angle just for added support. Hopefully I'll be able to take advantage of this slot to allow me to adjust up and down. What I might do is bolt this on to the machine, and then just throw a tack weld on here, get it positioned properly. Let's try and mark it out. I've turned this the other way. I cut off too much here. So I've got it marked out and plant that right about there. My bolt hole ended up right on there, so I got to cut that out. Whatever, it's going to be sandwiched between two pieces of metal, about 1.5 inches around. At this end, I'm probably just going to close that gap, put a spring on it, take a leftover piece of metal, maybe I'll cut this off, make a tab that'll fit onto the machine, hang a spring between the two, paint it, should be done after that. Wish me luck. Alright, I think I'm in good shape to weld this up. Got my mark my end. That should sit pretty nice. Bare metal. Welder on. Welder engage. Good enough. Damn it. Oh boy. This is supposed to be like this. You gotta be kidding me. No. There. Son of a bitch. That really sucks. I know I did a good welding job. out of wire. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Son of a... There it is. Still gotta do the tab for the machine side on that side. But hopefully that should do it. Throw some paint on it. Do one more test fit. Throw some paint on. And it should be good to go. I look cranky on camera, don't I? Alright, exhaust is all done. Just see if we can get you get rid of the glare. Sorry, I got a fan running in the background. There. No, I'm gonna go grab a light. Alright, there we go. I can probably see a little better. Bracket's all done, welded up, painted. Get focus. A little bit tight on clearances. Hopefully you can hear me. This fan is really loud, but I need it. Let's see what it looks like from the other side. It's got a pretty good fit there. I know it looks crooked, but it actually does line up better than it looks. Pipe that we shortened. Welds turned out not too terrible. And the bracket with the spring is back in there somewhere. You can kind of see it. I do have to change up what I'm doing for the spring though. All I gotta do really is turn the tab about 90 degrees and then I can hook a spring onto it. Might have to drill a new hole into that tab that I made. But let's fire it up. Like it. Sounds good. Well, thanks for watching. You know, the usual stuff, subscribe and all that. Maybe I'll actually get some subscribers. Definitely got more content coming. Just got good news today. My Pro XP4 showed up, my 2022. Had an order for a 2021, and before it arrived, the 22s came out. They were cheaper, had a couple extra features that the 21s didn't, so it was a no-brainer. Canceled the order. Literally days later, it showed up at the dealership. They had no problem selling it, so that wasn't even a concern. Ordered up the 22. I think that was like sometime in July, beginning of July. Today, November 23rd, it showed up at the dealership. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll do a walk around to that machine. We've got a whole bunch of goodies to put on it. Some basics: roof, winch, bumpers, front and rear bumpers. I'm going to be doing an aftermarket Assassin's system on it. I think it's a level 3 if I remember right. That'll bring it up to about 200 horsepower at the wheels. So looking forward to that. Unfortunately, it's now winter, so snow's on the ground. That video doing those upgrades will probably just be a complete waste in the snow, so might just wait till spring on that, but we'll see how it goes. See what kind of content I can put together in the meantime. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and see you soon.